Running a home service business is hard. So how is it that some people make it look so easy? Well, we'll tell you. This is the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. It's always good to hear the wins that successful contractors have. But have you ever thought that the best advice would be to hear about the speed bumps they encountered, the mistakes they've made along the way? We're going to talk about the good, the bad, and the ugly. We want you to be successful and avoid the mistakes others have made. Let's get this party started. Welcome to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Now your host, Justin Deese.
Welcome back to another episode of Freedom Blueprint Podcast. I am your host, Justin Deese, and today I'm hanging out with my business partner, Chris Gist. Pause for applause.
What's going on?
What's up, man? So if you're watching this on YouTube, you probably can see that we're in the studio today. If you're listening to the podcast while you're exercising or cutting the grass, or what do you do when you listen to podcasts?
Drive.
Okay. Or driving. Then you probably can't see that we're in the studio, but yeah, Gist made it out here to the farm to hang out, and you have to take a chicken home with you.
I would love to take a chicken home.
Yeah.
I was going to ask before I left.
Yeah. I'll have to, and we have more to slaughter Saturday. So
You didn't get all 50 of them in?
no, we ran out of space.
Okay.
Yeah, we ran. So, a little bit of a backstory. If you follow the podcast, you know about this. If you're new to the podcast, welcome. Typically, we talk about business, but my wife and I have had some personal projects we've been working on, and we live on some land on the north end of the county that we live in. And my wife said, "Hey, you know what? We should try raising our own chickens." And I was like, "Okay, I don't even know what that means, but let's try it." And she said, "Well, we should get like 10 chickens." And so as I'm going through the process, and I realize, well, like the thing you got to get is a certain size. I don't know. Anyways, I ordered 50 chickens. And my wife's like, "What is wrong with you?" I'm like, 10 or 50, like what's the difference? Because they only live 8 weeks.
Oh, really? It's that quick of a process?
That fast, man.
Huh.
It is that fast. So, I don't know. I thought, well, obviously to butcher them is going to take more time, but during that 8-week period, we move the thing every day. And so whether there's 10 chickens or 50 chickens, I thought, well, I mean, you're going to move the thing every day.
Might as well utilize the space.
All the effort is at the end. So now so butchering was a 4-day.
I had no idea that was only an 8-week process.
8-week process, man. 8-week process. And it's kind of cool. Some of them got to be really big because this is the first time we've done it. And we overfed them a little bit. So, whatever. So it's fine. Some of them are almost 8 pounds. And if you buy chicken from the grocery store, that's a big chicken.
Yeah.
It's basically a turkey. So, but yeah, you have to take one with you when you go. We'll wrangle one from the freezer. Well, we ended up having almost 150 pounds, I think.
That's crazy.
Yeah, and then we have 16 more, I think 16 that we're processing this week. But we didn't get through all 50 because we just ran out of space. Like I underestimated how many chickens that is.
How big of a freezer you need.
Yeah, I had to go buy. So the night before, I had to go buy a cooler. Well, I don't know, it was whatever Friday night. I'm running around trying to buy a cooler. So the biggest one I could find was 115 quart.
Was you running around like a chicken with your head cut off?
A little bit, yeah. That was a good one. I don't even remember what we were talking about. We just kind of got off the interstate there a little bit. But that's okay.
I don't remember either. Oh, driving, listening to the podcast?
Oh.
I don't know where we were.
Anyways, here's what we're going to do today. So one of the things that I'm going to start implementing into the podcast is kind of a rapid fire session, and to ask questions and get just that quick response. I think there's a lot of gold sometimes when you don't have too much time to prep and you just have to give an answer. And so part of what I want to do with you and I is go through the questions, and then we can expand upon them as much as you want. But before we get into that, I know I mentioned earlier that we're business partners. Gist and I created Paradise Home Services, which we later sold to a private equity group. We're still a part of that group. I don't know, anything to add to that?
It was a very quick and beneficial journey.
Yeah. We had a 5-year plan. That's how we had to sell our wives on how we were going to do this thing again. And they bought in, and we managed to,
Shorten it down to 3 years.
yeah. 37 months,
Yep.
35 or 37 months, somewhere in that range. I don't remember exactly, but, if you want to know a little bit more about Paradise and about Gist and his journey, you've been on a couple of different podcasts. So, definitely go back and listen to some of those. And when you listen to them, make sure to give it some 5-star review love.
Yeah.
Give it some 5 stars so that we know you listened to it and checked it out. So anyway, we're going to go through these questions. You're going to give me a response, and then I might ask some follow-up questions. So as we go through the podcast, these won't really be longer questions that I'll ask people that are hanging out, but I might ask you some follow-up questions. So you ready?
Let's do it.
Rapid fire, man. All right, here's question 1. What is one thing that people would be surprised to know about you?
I've been asked this multiple times. My go-to is usually the fact that I had passed my level 1 PGA apprenticeship. I know that this athletic stature doesn't look like much of a golfer, but I was actually a pretty good golfer before I started having surgeries. So
Okay.
that would be one thing that people don't really know.
So I can attest to your skills on the golf course. Usually, if we're doing a scramble, I'm not sure what part I participate or help in. Like sometimes on drives, but that might be it. Like I'm not sure anywhere else in that process where I'm even much help.
Yeah, you haven't even known me since I was actually good. So
Yeah, I just get the leftover, the broken version. All right, here we go. Number 2. What does freedom look like for you as a business owner?
obviously financial is a big one, but for me, it was more important to have time. Before I had moved down to Florida and started working for you, and before we became partners, I traveled and covered an 8-state region, doing commercial roofing sales. And my kid at the time was, 5 to 7 years old, and I missed out on a lot of t-ball games and stuff like that. So the freedom of time and family was more important than financial to me.
And now you're getting into that middle high school, about to be driving. I guess technically he's driving.
He got his permit 2 weeks ago.
So now you're getting this whole. It's a fun age, right? So Addie just graduated high school this year. Silas and Addison are 2 years apart.
Yeah.
So we're just a step ahead. So we're now entering into the empty nester time.
You have all kinds of freedom of time.
Yeah. And my kids aren't around, so I'm like, I want to spend it with them. So
Yeah.
which that's okay.
Mine is out of town this week, and he has been for 5 days now. And I'm like, is it time for you to come home yet?
Come back to the nest.
It's weird.
Well, that's me with me and Kristen with Zach. Being in the Marine Corps, that's just a different animal to where you kind of go where they just tell you where to go. They're like, hey, you should go get on this airplane and go to this foreign country. And by the way, when I say should, really what I mean is get your stuff and go now. And it was tough, man. Boot camp was tough. That 13 and a half weeks was tough. But definitely I never thought I'd be that parent that's like, I cannot wait for my kids to be back, like come back home now.
It's as simple as I've made some food that I've never made before in the house, and I want him to try it. And I'm like, dang it, he's not here.
I need my sous chef and my sous taster.
Yep.
That's awesome. All right, so next question. What's one decision that created more freedom?
Honestly, selling out to the private equity group, to Leap Service Partners. Stress levels are much less. Worrying about cash flow or making payroll is not an issue anymore. Wanting new toys for the business is not an issue anymore. And honestly, I think I have more free time now than I did as a business owner currently.
Well, it's definitely your thinking shifts. Like there's different things you have to think about yeah, not running on a cash basis is certainly,
Yeah.
you're not having to go, okay, well, I really want this piece of equipment, or I really want to order this tractor trailer load of water heaters, but what's my turn rate going to be? How quick am I going to get it done?
Yeah.
Like all those things. So that's, I'll agree with you on that. That's definitely, running. It allows you to run the business in a different mindset.
And then there's the spouse aspect of that cash flow too. So yeah, while I'm at work, I want to make this decision, but I still got to deal with it at home too. So extra stress.
Good answer. Good answer. What's one leadership lesson you wish you would have learned earlier?
Don't be afraid to pull the trigger on things. It's, if you fail, whatever, you'll have another opportunity, but just making the bigger decisions quicker.
Yeah.
I guess. I have been a leader of some sort or another since I was 18, but as far as trying to do it for myself, I think I waited too long to start that process.
Well, it's a nice thing about being a smaller, like when you're starting out and you're running your business, the good and the bad is you can make decisions quickly. But I think sometimes what people forget is you can shift and pivot quickly. So, if you make a decision and you're like, uh-oh, wrong decision, you should be able to have enough to
Change it on the fly.
shift it and move on. All right, good answer. If you could give one piece of advice to a business owner trying to grow, what would it be?
Make sure that whatever you're building, you're trying to create happiness. So whether that be with the culture or the brand or your home life, if you build it around that, and not just for you, but for your team members, typically everything else will fall into place and be successful. So make sure that you're enjoying what you're doing from the get-go.
So I think most business owners, especially when you get to like that certain size, fun seems to be an adjective that's not used very often when you talk about your business. And I think I think it's a shame that most business owners don't use that. And, for you and I, when we decided to go after it and do this crazy thing and create this business, as we were sitting down coming up with like, what are some of our non-negotiables, fun came up a lot.
Yeah.
It came up in the branding. It came up in how we wanted to do the culture. It came up in the uniforms. It came up in the van wrap, like every sense of it. It was like, we just want to have more fun than we did last time.
Yep.
And I think through that, what ends up happening is your team senses that, your team feels it, and then they end up having more fun. And if they're having fun, they want to come to work.
We have a lot of team members that have been on from day one.
Mm-hmm.
They don't have any desire to go anywhere else because they've been other places, and
Right.
we're the cool place.
So I'll tell a little bit of it. I want to tell this story. And when we were first starting, right, we had this really big growth plan. And it was like every month we'd like hit a new milestone. And I remember being, so part of what we did to really kind of fuel the culture at the beginning was we were doing, it was like 15-minute meetings every morning because everybody came to the shop in the morning, and we were doing like this quick 15-minute, I don't know, hype session. I mean, what's up? What you got going on? What's the jobs look like today? Like just getting everybody kind of in that mindset shift. And then once a month still this happens, is there's a company meeting where everybody comes in and meets and talks about all the stuff going on. And I remember like every month was like this new milestone. And this is why having a business partner that sees the world through a different lens is so important. Is I remember you coming to me going, they don't care. like they don't, you can stop. Like they don't care. Because to me, I was so excited and thought everybody else was excited. And I know you were excited, but you're like, we're excited. They're excited to be somewhere they like and a place that they want to be. And so I think that was always cool to share that.
Yeah. We've got a guy that drives, an hour, 15 minutes just to be at the shop in the morning.
Yeah.
And sometimes his first job is another 45 minutes back towards his house. I'm like, dude, you don't need to come here every morning, but they want to.
Right.
And typically they're not on the clock. They're just kind of there for the first 30 minutes, camaraderie, and then they start getting their stuff loaded up. But it's an awesome atmosphere. We just had so our plumbing department hit a milestone the first quarter of this year. They had their first $1 million quarter for plumbing.
Fantastic.
Amazing. So the service manager put a challenge out there to them in January, because last year we had this challenge and we came about $50,000 short. It was close. So he this year gave them the challenge that if they hit it, he would have a big crawfish boil for them and a big party. And we just had that at my house this weekend. There's probably 15 of us there. Swim party. At 80 pounds of crawfish. But it was awesome to see everybody have a good time.
So one of the things, I was sharing this with somebody a couple weeks ago, and I was talking about our monthly meetings. And I was saying, we were kind of getting wrapped up in the growth and the go and the go and the go. And we were kind of starting to lose a little bit of that culture focus and centered. And you and I were sitting down there talking. We were talking one day trying to figure out, like, what's missing and what's something that's not going the way it was going. Like, what's going on? And we kind of determined that we used to cook for every meal, but then we stopped cooking and we started ordering like Whataburger or McDonald's.
Yeah.
Garbage, right? And it was interesting because we went, okay, we got to get back to doing that. And you were the chef. Like, you and Danny are the two that really do a lot of the cooking.
Yeah, fortunately for me, Danny's pretty much taken over, and he's our smoke master too. So he'll brisket or pork butt shredded with
brisket tacos, man. Oh,
egg and brisket burritos for breakfast or tacos for breakfast. But I will say, with that whole, what would you tell to another business owner? That kind of goes along with it. That creating the happiness. Don't lose that as you get bigger, because it's easy to not feel like a mom and pop anymore when you hit a certain number of employees.
Yeah.
But because we had learned that lesson, we've done a pretty good job of keeping that same feeling, even though we're up to 42 employees now or something like that.
So when I was sharing the story about the cooking and the serving, right? Because to me, I think that the reason that makes such a big difference is because your team sees you serving them.
Correct.
Right. And I think that's a big thing for them, not for them to come to work and be working and doing all the things, but for us to be physically serving, like cooking and, sweat running down. Yeah. And
it doesn't matter if it's 7:00 in the morning in July in Florida, it's still hot.
Right. But then, but how long did it take from the time we went, you know what, I think this is the missing key, which I think even when we said it out loud, we kind of looked at each other and went, could that really be the thing? And we're like, I don't know. Like, let's go. To me, I feel like the second we went back to doing that, it was almost instant. The culture changed.
It was. Because we had grown, and like I was saying, lost sight of the mom and pop, there was quite a few new people that had never seen us do that in the beginning. And then when we started doing it again, it was a wow factor for the new employees.
Yeah. It was, I think that was just such a key culture thing that seems so small, but man, what a big impact.
We had to get a second flat top grill.
Yep.
Because typically it was bacon, eggs, pancakes, whatever. And then we ended up getting an electric smoker with our rewards points.
Yep.
And Danny really likes to smoke. So then he would just strap it into his truck and smoke the meat overnight in his truck and then bring it in the morning. And then now we just need the one flat top because the meat's already there.
So one of somebody in the community I bumped into when we were shooting the breeze and catching up, and somebody I've known for a lot of years, he said, I saw one of y'all's trucks driving down the road the other day with smoke bellowing out of the back of it. I said, but was it early in the morning? He said, yeah, it's early in the morning. I was like, that was breakfast coming. That was the breakfast train chewing down the road, and it probably had briskets, and we were probably having brisket tacos.
Yep. Danny does good work.
He does. He does. He's an amazing. This plumbing thing don't work out. He can.
Yeah.
He can be a barbecue guy.
Yeah.
Just don't tell him.
He's from Missouri, so he knows barbecue the right way.
Okay. All right.
Kansas City barbecue.
There could be a debate. There could be a debate. Cool. So let's shift gears a little bit. At the time of recording, it's June, mid-June. In the Southeast, we haven't quite hit that heat wave yet. I think in our area, it got a little warmer. Like last week, we got a pretty good little spike, but we haven't just seen the just crazy, ridiculously hot, muggy, the really good HVAC weather.
The scorching stuff.
Yeah, we haven't seen that yet. So what are some things, because I feel like we're 4 weeks behind that trend.
Yeah. April and May, especially April, our weather was just absolutely perfect here.
Yeah.
But surprisingly,
Which is great when you live here.
Yeah.
Not great for the HVAC.
surprisingly though, May was our greatest month ever. And our HVAC department had its greatest month ever.
Yeah.
So things are starting to pick up, which is surprising with all of the price increases because of the tariffs that have or have not hit yet. But
And the refrigerant.
the
Craziness.
manufacturers are going to raise their price anyways, even though it hasn't happened.
They're not going to miss an opportunity to raise their price.
Yeah, it's good stuff.
Yeah.
But yeah, it's starting to heat up. I think this week's all going to be upper 80s. So, and in Florida with the humidity, that's where the money's at. It's humidity.
Yeah. Isn't it? So I always feel like it's, so a little backstory. You and I, our backgrounds were more on the plumbing side than the HVAC side. And part of the Paradise Home Services plan was we were going to get an HVAC. Like that was part of our written down vision statement when we first started. And so then when we actually got into the HVAC business because we acquired a business. And so we really didn't know what we didn't know
What we were doing.
I'm overly optimistic all the time. So I'm like, it's just a different widget. Who cares? And then you're like, I don't think that's how that works. And you were right. But one of the things, as we started learning more about the industry, that surprised me is that anybody in the South would install an AC system that was not a variable speed.
Yeah, no kidding. Like when I put the one into my house, it's a huge difference.
What a night and day.
And my power bill went down a little over $200 from 1 July to the next.
Dang.
So, I mean, that also included insulation and aeroseal, but still.
We had to test we had to test everything out,
Yeah.
make sure we knew what we were doing.
Yeah.
Get stove on the store. He's like, yeah, let's hook my house up. Let's see how it goes.
Yeah. And then, the bag busted loose in training and got glue all over my 78 shovel head.
I do remember that. Yeah, we were. And the trainer was there.
Yeah.
The trainer from Aerosil. He was horribly embarrassed, which wasn't his fault by any means. That was totally us being us because so the business that we acquired, he was very much a toy guy. He had all the toys.
He was.
Most of which he never, I don't think, used a ton of them, but he had like all the toys. And Aerosil was one of the toys that he had. And I remember when we acquired the business, we were like, we've heard of it. We don't know much about it, but we've heard of it. And we know some businesses that do it. And man, we started studying it. And it was like, well, yeah, this is going to be a core part of our business. This is pretty awesome.
Quite a bit of it now. It's definitely advantageous for a homeowner. I mean, shoot, in California, it's required now, right, for new builds.
Well, and I don't know that Aerosil necessarily is required, but yes, the standards that they have now set in California, from my understanding, are so tight that I don't know that you can do it without Aerosil, and I don't think,
because they acknowledge that even a new build is going to have leaks in it.
well, so now Aerosil has the machine to where it will, before drywall, it will seal all the leaks. Like it sprays the glue all through the house, which it is, because you got to think houses do have to breathe.
It's true.
So I don't know. I mean, I guess you maybe dump air out. I don't know. We don't get that fancy here in Florida. That's more of a West Coast thing, but it is cool. The technology is pretty neat. But yeah, man, that would be a tight tight house.
Yeah.
Well, cool. Any last wisdom to share, my man, before we jump off? Because we have lunch coming up at the Piggly Wiggly.
Piggly Wiggly. We are high class. No, I don't have any good wisdom, I guess.
You have so much good wisdom. I think you're being coy.
I am coy. You're putting me on the spot.
I know, that's the whole point.
Again, back to the build happiness. Make sure that your culture is amazing. It's not just for your life, but you're building it for your team's lives as well. So you want to spread the happiness. Don't just take it home with you.
Well, in culture, when you have a good culture, you tend to not have people leave for $1.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
So that's a big one. So cool. I guess appreciate it, man. Let's wrap this thing up. We got some Piggly Wiggly to go eat. If anybody listening doesn't know what a Piggly Wiggly is, clearly you're not from the South, but we have a Piggly Wiggly by our house that has this amazing buffet that you've not had, but you're going to experience. Amazing buffet. And it literally is like food my grandmother used to make. It's collard greens and
soul food,
black-eyed peas. Oh my gosh, I'm so excited. My stomach's rumbling. I don't know if the microphone's picking it up or not, but cool, man. Appreciate you coming and hanging out.
Thanks,
and thank you guys for checking it out and hanging out. And listen, subscribe and reviews, 5-star reviews, man. It doesn't just work for your plumbing and AC and electrical business. It also works for podcasts as well. So hook us up and we appreciate it. Thank you.
You've been listening to the Freedom Blueprint Podcast. Information is useless if not applied. So take what you've learned and go and implement it. We hope you've enjoyed the show. If you did, make sure to like, rate, and review. We'll be back soon. But in the meantime, find us on social media at Freedom Blueprint for Home Services and hit the website at www.freedomblueprintpodcast.com. See you next time.